The maintenance bay hummed with the low thrum of starship engines, casting long shadows across the scattered armor plates that lay before Olivia. Her hands moved with practiced precision, welding torch dancing across the scorched metal of Oliver's combat suit. The Battle of Proxima had been brutal, and his armor showed every second of it. "Hold still," Olivia muttered, though Oliver stood perfectly motionless on the adjustment platform. She'd been his armor technician for 3 years now, ever since the Galactic Coalition had reluctantly accepted Earth into its ranks. The other species still looked at humans with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. Newcomers to a galaxy that had been civilized for millennia, Oliver watched her work in silence, admiring the way she lost herself in the repairs. Olivia had always been like that, completely focused when her hands were on machinery. It was one of the reasons she was the best tech on the Vanguard. The door to the maintenance bay hissed open, and a towering figure entered. Jathik, a Krellian warrior whose chitinous exoskeleton gleamed purple under the artificial lights, approached with the characteristic clicking of his species, his 4 eyes fixed on them with what might have been curiosity. "Human technician?" Jathik's translator rendered his clicking speech into flat, emotionless words. "Your repairs are inefficient." A proper craftsman would have completed this in half the time. Olivia didn't look up from her work. She'd heard this before. Every species in the Coalition thought humans were primitives playing at being spacefaring. "Maybe if your weapons hadn't damaged the neural interface so badly, I'd be done already." Jathik's mandibles twitched with what Oliver recognized as amusement. The Krellian moved closer, watching Olivia's delicate work on the armor's sensory array. Then his eyes caught something, the faint blue glow beneath the sleeve of her work coveralls. "What is that marking?" Jathik demanded, pointing with one of his 3-fingered hands. Olivia paused, glancing at her wrist where her sleeve had ridden up, revealing the bioluminescent tattoo beneath. The Earthborn Sela mark every human who'd survived the collapse carried. She'd never thought to hide it before. "It's nothing," she said curtly, pulling her sleeve down, but Jathik had already accessed his neural link, scanning through the Coalition database. His posture changed immediately, all 4 eyes widening in a display Oliver had never seen from the normally stoic warrior. You are Earthborn?" The translator couldn't quite capture the shift in Jathik's tone, but Oliver heard it in the original clicking, something between reverence and fear. Olivia set down her torch, straightening to her full height, which still left her a foot shorter than the alien. "Yeah, so what?" "So what?" Jathik's voice rose, his exoskeleton plates rattling with agitation. "Do you know what that means? What your people survived?" Oliver frowned, stepping down from the platform. "Jathik, what are you talking about?" The Krellian turned to face him, all aggression gone from his posture. "You don't understand? No species in Coalition history has ever faced what Earth faced. The Cascade event, when your sun's magnetic field collapsed and bathed your world in radiation for 3 cycles. Every species in the database that faced even a fraction of that level of stellar radiation went extinct within days." Olivia's jaw tightened. She remembered those 3 years, the years humanity called the collapse. Remembered watching the sky turn green, the auroras that never stopped, the sickness that claimed billions. She remembered her parents, her brother, everyone she'd known before the underground shelters. "But humans," Jathik continued, his voice dropping to something almost reverent, "humans adapted. You built cities underground while the radiation scoured your surface. You rationed food that would have run out for any other species. You held together while your world burned above you. And when it ended, when your magnetic field finally restored itself, you emerged and rebuilt. Within 50 cycles, you reached for the stars." "We did what we had to do," Olivia said quietly, her fingers unconsciously touching the seal on her wrist. The bioluminescent tattoo had been mandatory for all survivors, a way to track radiation exposure. But it had become something more. A badge of survival. Jathik made a gesture Oliver had learned meant profound respect among Krellians. The Vryn have a saying, "True strength is not in the armor you wear, but in the scars you carry." I have fought beside many warriors, human Oliver included. But I never understood why humans fought so desperately, why you never retreated. never surrendered even when the odds were impossible. He looked directly at Olivia. Now I understand. You come from a species that stared at extinction and refused to blink. Every human I have met, every human on this ship, you all carry that seal. You are all Earthborn. You are all survivors of the impossible. Oliver felt a surge of pride as he watched Olivia. He'd known her story, knew what the seal meant, but hearing it through alien eyes made him see it differently. They weren't newcomers to the galaxy. They were survivors of something no other species had ever overcome. Olivia picked up her torch again. But there was a new set to her shoulders. The armor still needs work, she said. But there was a hint of a smile on her face. Shothic bowed, a gesture of deep respect rarely shown to other species. When the repairs are complete, I would be honored if you would join me in the Warriors' Hall. The Krellian veterans should know the story of Earth's survival. Perhaps it would teach us humility. As the alien warrior left the bay, Oliver caught Olivia's eye. You never told me it was that bad. She shrugged, returning to her work on his armor, but her hands trembled slightly. We don't like to make a big deal out of it. We survived. That's what humans do. Oliver nodded, understanding now why Earth had been accepted into the coalition despite being technologically inferior. The galaxy didn't just respect weapons or ships, it respected the will to endure. As Olivia welded the final plate back into place. The Earthborn seal on her wrist glowed softly in the dim light of the maintenance bay, a reminder that humanity had already faced its apocalypse and emerged stronger. They were Earthborn. And that meant they were unbreakable.